sugar can be up to 8 times more addictive than some of the hardest street drugs, hijacking your brain's reward pathways with a grip so tight, it's nearly impossible to shake. Think about that for a second. Something you sprinkle on your morning cereal or sip in your soda could be rewiring your mind, pulling you back for more, even as it wreaks havoc on your body. And here's the kicker. Not all sugars are created equal. For those battling diabetes or just trying to stay healthy, one type might be your silent enemy, doing damage you can't even feel until it's too late. Let's dive into the dark side of sugar. Specifically, is there one kind that's worse than the rest? Now, you might be wondering, if sugar is so addictive, why aren't we all spiraling out of control? Well, it's not just about how much you eat, but what kind you're eating. I've seen folks come into my clinic confused and frustrated, their blood sugar numbers climbing despite cutting back on sweets. They're doing everything right, yet something's still off. That's when I ask them about their diet in detail. What kind of sugar are they sneaking in without even knowing? See, the real question isn't just sugar bad. It's which sugar is sabotaging you the most. And trust me, when we zero in on fructose, a sugar hiding in plain sight, the answers get real interesting. Stick with me, because we're about to uncover how this sneaky little compound could be piling fat on your liver and messing with your insulin in ways you never imagined. Let's break this down to the basics so you can see the full picture. Sugar, at its core, comes in many forms, but two big players dominate the conversation, especially when we're talking diabetes or metabolic health: glucose and fructose. Glucose is the quick hitter. Your body breaks it down fast. It spikes your blood sugar almost instantly, giving you that energy rush, but also crashing you hard if you're not careful. It's in everything from bread to bananas, and your cells use it as fuel. But here's the thing. Your body has a system to handle glucose. Insulin kicks in, regulates it, shuttles it where it needs to go. Now fructose? That's a whole different beast. It's the slow, silent destroyer, often found in fruits, but also concentrated in processed stuff like sugary drinks and snacks. Unlike glucose, fructose doesn't trigger insulin right away. It slips straight to your liver, where it gets processed in a way that can bypass your body's normal checks and balances. And that's where the trouble starts. I've been poring over research for years, and the data doesn't lie. Studies show that when people drink beverages sweetened with fructose instead of glucose, they gain more visceral fat, that dangerous kind that wraps around your organs. They also see higher levels of blood fats, like triglycerides, and their insulin sensitivity takes a nosedive. One study I often reference tracked folks consuming these drinks over weeks, and the fructose group didn't just pack on extra fat. Their risk markers for heart disease shot up too. Compare that to glucose, which, while not innocent, at least gets metabolized with some oversight by insulin. Fructose, though, it's like a rogue agent. In animal studies, mice fed the same calorie count in fructose versus glucose showed stark differences. Fructose led to more weight gain, worse blood sugar control, and even liver enlargement. Why? Because when fructose hits your liver, it's converted into compounds that either get used for energy or, more often, stored as fat. And not just any fat, liver fat, the kind that messes with your metabolism over time, raising cholesterol, disrupting insulin signaling, and setting the stage for conditions like non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. The American Heart Association has flagged this too. Excess fructose ramps up triglyceride production, a straight path to cardiovascular trouble. Think about this in real life. Picture a guy. Let's call it a typical case I've seen too many times. He's in his 40s, works a desk job, grabs a soda with lunch every day because, hey, it's just a drink, right? Maybe a sweetened coffee in the morning too. He's not eating candy bars by the handful, so he thinks he's fine. But those drinks are loaded with concentrated fructose, often from processed sweeteners, hitting his liver day after day. Over months, years, that fat builds up. His energy lags, his waistline grows, and when we run tests, his liver enzymes are off. His triglycerides are through the roof, and his insulin isn't responding like it should. He's shocked. "Doc, I don't even eat that much sugar." But that's the trap. Fructose doesn't scream danger with a blood sugar spike like glucose does. It works quietly, behind the scenes, until the damage is done. I've had to sit with patients like this, walk them through scans showing fat crowding their liver, explain how this isn't just about weight. It's about a cascade of metabolic chaos. And for diabetics who already struggle with insulin and blood sugar, this is a double whammy. Their bodies are less equipped to handle the fallout, making every sip of a sugary drink a gamble. But hold up. Before you swear off everything sweet, let's dig deeper with a question that flips the script. If fructose is so bad, does that mean you have to ditch fruit too? I've had patients panic over this, thinking an apple is as dangerous as a cola. And I get it. The word fructose sounds the alarm now. But here's where the story takes a turn. Not all fructose is your enemy, and the source matters more than you might think. Let's unpack how this sugar plays out in nature versus in a factory, because the difference could save you from unnecessary fear or unnecessary risk. I've seen the confusion firsthand. Folks tossing out perfectly good fruit while still sipping on healthy juices that are anything but. So what's the real deal with fructose in your diet, and how can you outsmart its dangers? This is where we hit the heart of the matter, the part that can change how you look at your plate forever. Let's be crystal clear. Fructose from processed sources, think sodas, candies, and those sneaky sweeteners in low-fat snacks, is the real villain. Why? It's concentrated, stripped of anything that could slow its impact. When you gulp down a sugary drink, you're flooding your liver with fructose in amounts nature never intended. A single can of soda can pack over 20 grams of fructose, hitting your system all at once. No fiber, no nutrients, just a straight shot of trouble. Your liver scrambles to process it, turning excess into fat faster than you can say, "Second helping." Research backs this up hard. Studies show that consuming over 100 grams of fructose daily, especially from these sources, spikes cholesterol and triglyceride levels, ramps up inflammation, and worsens insulin resistance. For diabetics, even 50 grams from processed stuff can start tipping the scales toward trouble. I've seen patients who cut out sugary drinks for just a month and watch their blood markers improve. Less fat in the liver, better insulin response. It's not magic, it's mechanics. Contrast that with whole fruits. Yes, they've got fructose too, but it's a different game. Take a medium apple. About 11 grams of fructose, sure, but it's bundled with fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants. That fiber slows digestion, so the sugar trickles into your system instead of slamming it. Your liver gets a chance to breathe, process things naturally. Plus, the nutrients fight inflammation, support your metabolism, even protect your liver from stress. I've had patients with type 2 diabetes who thought fruit was off limits, but when we worked out a plan, say 40 grams of fructose spread across the day, from low glycemic picks like berries, citrus, or green apples, their blood sugar stayed steady. Picture this: breakfast with a small, not too ripe banana, about 6 grams fructose. A snack of a cup of strawberries, 3 grams. Lunch with a medium orange, 6 grams. Another snack of blueberries, 3 grams. And dinner with half a mango, 5 grams. That's 23 grams, well under the threshold, paired with veggies and protein to blunt any spikes. And here's the data point. Studies show low glycemic fruits in moderation don't just avoid harm, they can lower inflammation and improve metabolic markers. But overdo it, even with fruit, or pile on other carbs without balance, and you're back in risky territory. I've seen older adults or folks with slower metabolisms struggle if they're getting fructose from multiple sources, drinks, snacks, plus fruit, without realizing it all adds up. Now let's layer in another angle for diabetics or anyone with insulin resistance. Your body's already fighting to manage sugar, so every choice counts double. Processed fructose is like pouring gas on a fire. It accelerates fat buildup in your liver, disrupts insulin signaling, and makes blood sugar control a nightmare. But whole fruits, they're more like a controlled burn if you play it smart. Stick to small portions, spread them out, and pair them with movement. Just 20 minutes of walking a day, I'm talking a brisk stroll around the block, can boost your insulin sensitivity so much that your cells use up sugar better, and your liver doesn't turn every bit of fructose into fat. I've watched patients transform with this. One case sticks with me. A woman in her 50s, type 2 diabetic, terrified of fruit, but struggling with cravings. We mapped out her 40-gram fructose day, got her walking after meals, and within weeks, her energy was up, her numbers were stabilizing, and she wasn't feeling deprived. It's not about cutting out joy, it's about rewriting the rules. And for those with conditions like fatty liver disease, monitoring even fruit-based fructose is key. But total avoidance? Rarely necessary unless your case is severe. The science is clear. Replace processed fructose with other carbs or stick to natural sources, and you can see blood sugar control improve, inflammation drop, and overall health climb. It's about precision, not panic. All right, let's lighten the load for a moment with something that might just make you smile. Picture this scene I overheard at a family barbecue last summer. There's this uncle, big guy, always the life of the party, holding court with a soda in one hand and a hot dog in the other. He's teasing the kids, saying, "Y'all better eat your fruit or the sugar monster's gonna get ya." Everyone laughs, but then his sister pipes up, "Man, you're the one feeding that monster with all them drinks." The whole yard cracks up, but it got me thinking, he didn't even realize the irony. He's downing concentrated fructose like it's water, while the kids are munching on watermelon, getting maybe a few grams of natural sugar with all the good stuff to balance it. I couldn't help but chuckle, but it's a perfect snapshot of how clueless we can be about what's really sneaking into our bodies. Later, I pulled him aside, real casual, and broke it down. How swapping that soda for even a sugary iced tea with less concentrated junk, or better yet, just some sliced fruit with the kids, could save him a world of hurt down the line. He looked at me like I'd just handed him a cheat code, half laughing, "Doc, you telling me I gotta fight the sugar monster too?" And yeah, we all do, but it's winnable. I've seen this play out in so many ways over the years, sitting with folks who are scared, tired, or just fed up with feeling out of control. We dig into their habits, and 9 times out of 10, it's not the obvious sweets. It's the hidden fructose and processed stuff that's dragging them down. So here's a little story to drive it home. I remember a patient, a dad in his late 30s, always on the go, grabbing healthy energy drinks because he thought they were better than soda. He's gaining weight, feeling sluggish, and his blood work's a mess. High triglycerides, early signs of liver fat. We sat down, mapped out every sip and bite, and those drinks loaded with processed sweeteners, dumping fructose straight to his liver. I showed him the numbers, over 60 grams a day just from those, not counting food. We swapped them for water with a splash of lemon, added a couple low-sugar fruits for his sweet tooth, and got him moving a bit more. 2 months later, he's down pounds, his energy's back, and his liver markers are trending right. He grinned at me, said, "I didn't even miss them once I knew what they were doing." That's the power of knowing your enemy and knowing how to fight smart. So let's wrap this up with the bottom line. Fructose, especially from processed sources, can be a silent wrecking ball to your health, piling fat on your liver, spiking blood fats, and throwing your insulin out of whack. But you've got the upper hand if you play it right. Stick to whole fruits in moderation, prioritize veggies, pair your meals with movement, and ditch the sugary drinks. It's not about giving up sweetness. It's about owning your choices. If you found this helpful and want to keep hearing insights like these, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell. Your support keeps me sharing. And hey, videos like this can disappear fast, so don't wait. Join the crew now. One last thing. What's one sugary habit you're ready to swap out after hearing this? Drop it in the comments. I'm all ears.